Although Niagara Falls is larger in volume, Taughannock Falls is taller by 10 meters, the tallest waterfall in New York. It flows into Taughannock Lake northeast of Ithaca. The main cataract is a 66-meter drop, with other smaller drops and falls along the Taughannock Creek's swift course through the gorge. It is said to be the highest single-drop waterfall east of the Rockies. The gorge is an example of a hanging valley, where a smaller valley hangs above a larger one, as is common in certain waterfalls around the world. The lower portion of the gorge is composed of shales, which are relatively soft and erode easily, whereas the upper portions of the gorge is composed of harder sandstone and siltstone. The tougher stone has a clear, well-defined cleft planes along fault lines referred to as J1 and J2 joints. Erosion is most prolific along these joints. Frost wedging, where yearly seasonal freezing and thawing of water and rocks weaken them, erode the gorge walls further, and the waterfall continues to slowly move westward, lengthening the already 1.2-kilometer long gorge. These processes have led to towering sheer cliff faces along the gorge walls, up to 120 meters high in some cases. Around the falls themselves, the cliff walls are in the shape of an amphitheater. The gorge widens as it follows the course of the creek. A dense, constant spray of mist emits from where the cataract crashes into the plunge pool. Taughannock Creek, which begins 16 kilometers west of the falls, drains an area of about 173 square kilometers. The limestone streambed of Taughannock Creek is tougher than shale and limestone, and so is not eroded as much as rock layers above it have. Raindrops, both naturally and anthropogenically acidic, have weathered small, dense riverbeds known as suction pits. A delta called the Taughannock Point marks the spot where the creek finally empties into the Taughannock Lake, the longest Finger Lake, and it continuously builds as eroded rocks and sediments wash up from upstream. Different layers of different types of rocks aid in creating the impressive shape of the gorge. Atop the falls is the Shelbourne Sandstone Formation, from which the falls drop, which falls down into the gorge below. Whose shale walls are of the Ithaca Shale Formation, and beneath it, the Genesco Shale Formation. Some fossils can be spotted within the rock throughout the gorge. The gorge's sides showcase the shale cliffs and Taos plant community. In the glen, the north-facing slope of the gorge's south rim has slightly different plants from the northern rim's south-facing slope. The cooler, moister, north-facing slope has more hemlocks and birches than the warmer, drier, south-facing slope, which has more sycamores and oaks. The eastern hemlocks, thanks to its deep roots, which can hold on better, and darker green foliage, which helps absorb more light, is common within the gorge. The rim of the gorge is drier, though more equally warmed by the sun and the microclimates of the slope at the bottom. Red cedar, which can better tolerate both sun and slightly drier conditions, is common throughout the rim. Upstream of the Taughannock Falls is a smaller 30-meter drop called Upper Falls, and downstream is an even smaller 6-meter drop called Little Falls. Deer tend to avoid going too far into the gorge. Birds, like peregrine falcons, can be seen nesting on the cliff walls. They have disappeared from the site after 1946, but have returned in 2020. Birds of prey, vultures, and mergansers can be seen flying throughout the gorge, too.